Meet Noah. Noah was a bloody nice bloke compared to the rest of the world. One day, however, God appeared, and God said, "Build me an ark, because it's going to rain a lot, and you'll drown with that boat." And Noah said, "Okay, I shall get right to it." And so Noah took evening classes in nautical engineering and then took some pieces of wood and hammered them with hammers onto other pieces of wood.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. Touch this.
And the people, they saw the ark, and they said unto Noah, "Lo, why have you built this, my friend? We live in a desert." And Noah said, "Morgan free, I mean the Lord hath spoken, and I have done his will in building this ark." And the people laughed heartily. And Noah said unto the disbelievers that they were incorrect, and the Lord shall punish them for the wicked crimes of an undisclosed nature, but for which they most definitely deserve to be drowned in nasty ways. And the Lord said unto Noah, "Thou shalt gather 2 of each of the animals from far and from wide, but especially from far." And Noah began to have reservations about the whole thing. And so Noah travelled across the lands from the cold frozen deserts of the Antarctic to the wild and hostile valleys of Wales, and gathered he at the ark great bull elephants, and the majestic eagles, and the burrowing moles, and the wandering antelopes, and the frogs, and the marmots, and the guinea pigs, and the fruit bats, and the llamas, and the brown bears, and the black bears, and the pigeons, the parrots, and the praying mantis, and the beaver, and the flying squirrel, and the climbing squirrel, and the salamander, and the shrews, and the platypuses, and the bees, and the French, and the swans, and the blue-footed boobies, and the koalas, and the kangaroos, and the zebras, and the flamingos, and the foxes, and the fucking badgers, and the weasels, and the herons, and the rhinos, and the scorpions, and the cobras, and the mice, and the giraffes, and the brontosauruses, and the goats, and the pigs, and the rabbits, and some ants.
The animals went in 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The animals went in 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The animals went in 2 by 2, the elephant and the kangaroo. And they all went into the ark for to get out of the rain.
And so it came to pass that the water-based punishment of the Lord fell upon all the lands, and it rained for a long time, and after a while the people began to wonder if Noah was not a raving lunatic after all, but had been telling the truth. Many got on their knees and apologised for whatever it is they had sinned against the Lord, although they were very sketchy on the details of what it was exactly they did wrong, as the Lord has thus far only communicated his displeasure through the medium of rainfall, which is notoriously bad as a device of informative communication, and had forgone the option of writing a strongly worded letter like a normal person would.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Thus the floodwaters rose, and the poor homeless people drowned, followed by the poor people with ground floor flats, followed by slightly richer people with second floor accommodation, followed by rich people who lived in wooden Zeppelins as shown by the fossil record, carbon dated around 4,800 years ago. But the key point is that all the nasty, vile, horrible, dirty sinners were drowned horribly in fear and pain, and the Lord saw that this was good. As the floodwaters rose higher, they burst the dams and mountains to carve out great crevasses and canyons in the lands, sometimes even doubling back on themselves to make sure they comply with 21st century geology, because the Lord is clever like that. But the ark was absolutely fine and not utterly broken apart by the flood or any bits of mountains that had been catastrophically torn from the land, because Noah was awesome at building boats, and he was 8 feet tall or something. And so the flood set about carving the new face of the planet, instructing the continents to shift and move through various complicated yet definitely correct and not at all completely fucking stupid geological processes. Also, the flood sorted through the layers of rock, settling them into many geological strata, which can be seen in canyons because the flood made the strata, and then the flood made the canyons through the strata, but it's the same flood because the Lord works in mysterious ways which are all totally correct and true and make sense. And as an added bonus, the flood made sure all the trees stayed upright when it battered them down and buried them in rock, so the future humans could look upon them and think, "Lo, these trees which are upright agree with the evidence we have from the wooden Zeppelins, that there was a great worldwide flood that flooded everything precisely 4,000 years ago because there was a deity who was angry at sinners, and his book on the subject is thus correct, and as if we needed any more proof, we have some toast with Jesus on it." Finally the rain stopped, but Noah was left floating for a long time while the water subsided to wherever the water subsided to, probably into the crust of the earth or possibly ejected into outer space, which the upright trees prove is fact and not at all bullshit. However, Noah and the animals were all very hungry because they didn't carry enough food on the ark, because all Noah's wisdom in shipbuilding, he didn't build a fucking TARDIS with hundreds of warehouses worth of storage, so instead they ate the dinosaurs, and that's definitely how they became extinct. Finally the ark came to rest in the mountains of Ararat, and there was much rejoicing until they realised it was stuck up a fucking mountain with various hundreds of species who are not very good at being stuck up a fucking mountain. However, they got down somehow and all said, "Thank you, Noah, for saving us. Now we go back to our natural habitats." All their habitats were, however, a bit muddy. Also, there was nothing to eat because all the other animals and plants were dead, as was all the sea life. Any sea life or plants that you see today are lies from Satan, who wants to turn you away from the Lord's truth. But the animals survived somehow because of the upright trees and the fossilised foot in a boot, so this all definitely happened. And this is all proof because they found the Zeppelins, and Jesus is coming back for the rapture, and we will burn in hell for our sins against the Lord, and let go of me. I'm perfectly sane. Look at the upright trees. Look at them. Look at them. It's a sign. Look at the toast. Look at Jesus. lasers!